Almost ready, y'all. I just logged on. Yep. Welcome. Well, I don't know why hold on, y'all. Maybe if I did that the other way. How would that work? It's even worse. I was in a rush to get on because I said I would be on at 6. And I was rushing to get home to do this. And now my little setup ain't setting up the way I want it. Oh, y'all, I need a moment. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward, y'all. Today is no different. Today, I've had a busy week. I've been doing things this week, and I haven't been able to really adjust to how I'm going to really come forward with these podcasts and Bible studies and all the sort. But we'll figure it out. So I wanted to hop on today. I just got home and grabbed something to eat real quick so I won't be starving while I do this podcast, and deliver a word to y'all today, because this is my dedication. I'm dedicated to this, so I will follow through with it regardless. But I'm busy doing other things, and so I have to get acclimated to adjusting to doing this and those other things. Hold on, y'all. Oh, that's the light back there doing that. That's that other light. Anyway, that little shadow you see, I'm trying to get out of that, but it doesn't matter. I want to come on today and discuss how do I say it? Being the last to know, but the one with the most information. I know that doesn't make sense, right? Being the last to know, but the one with the most pertinent information. Have you ever felt like you were the last to know something? You ever walked into a room of people that you knew, and upon walking in the room, you sense that everybody knows something that you don't know? Right? Like, there may have been a conversation before you got there that had to do with you, but nobody wants to tell you what it was. I want to talk about that kind of stuff. I know we were talking about David yesterday, and not even David, but Saul. We're leading to the story of David. And that may be what's bringing this on, I'm not sure. But, you know, we talked to the foundation of Saul, how he got the role that he stepped into, the powerful role, and what fundamental makeup he had before he became king. And then how that makeup would somewhat shift once he was crowned king. How he would go from a literal nobody into the most powerful man in the world, his world, the world at the time. overnight, and how such a transition would affect him psychologically and emotionally, how it would shift the way that he saw himself, and how a lot of that shift would have to do with a spirit that God gave him. God would give him a new spirit that would allow him to fully absorb into the role that God would ordain for him to stand within. And, since we understand the fundamentals of who Saul is, we will begin embarking upon the journey of understanding what activities he took in thwarting or looking to thwart the path of David. But today I want to focus on the activities that happen. Okay? I want everybody to get an understanding of the activities, because I think what's happening in the world today is that we have these Saulish characters. All of us know a Saul or two, or someone comparable. And someone that's come across our path and that has caused difficulties in our path. And they've used various circumstances and activities to do so. And a lot of times those activities and those circumstances we are not privy to. We don't know what they are. It goes back to what I just said of a lot of times we will be in environments that we may or may not be familiar with. We may be introduced to new environments, and we may be going about business as usual. We haven't changed anything about ourselves. And we're entering into new environments, new circles of influence. And we're using old ways that we've always used. We're just being ourselves. We're not adopting a new philosophy. We're not adopting a new personality or a new persona. We're just going about life being who we are and embarking upon the newness that unfolds, regardless to types of environments or types of situations. We're embarking upon the newness as we've always done. Yet, it seems like at times we can find ourselves in situations where the Sauls of our lives have tainted the environments that we may have never even stepped into. That's the problem with the Sauls of the world. Saul was so powerful that he could go before David and cast a wide net so vast that they would foreshadow any movement that David would have made. They would go before David so that wherever David would go before he would reach there, they would already be privy to Saul's desires, even if they did not know the full circumstance that was going on. Saul would have sent people in those environments or sent word by way of messenger to those environments to speak of the situation from Saul's perspective only, tainting the environment so that when David goes into the environment, he's not either received fully as he normally would be, or if he is received, they're reluctant to receive him because they're side-eyeing him and countering what they see against what they have heard, and they're looking to see commonality. So they're micromanaging everything that David does and says. Yet they can't. What happens in these situations is a lot of times those that see you can't deny your presence. It doesn't line up with what the word was that went before you. And whatever ideology they had on your storyline that has nothing to do with them, now they are forced with a reality that makes them rethink it. Now they're forced with the reality of, okay, the most powerful person has told me this about this individual that can do nothing for me physically. Yet I don't see the truth in what this powerful person has said. It's not lining up. So it must be an untruth. There's a huge discrepancy here, and I see it. But this person can do nothing for me. Yet Saul is the king of Israel. Saul can help me get ahead. Saul could set me back. So even though I see this discrepancy, I'll act as if I don't see it. Because it doesn't benefit me either way. If I say I see it or not, it doesn't benefit me. Listening to people and following. I don't know. This is on my spirit. I know we are trudging quickly and throughout the book of 1 Samuel. And maybe this is coming forward because we are in the book of Samuel. But when I was driving today to go get some food for my daughter and I was thinking about it, like the whole David and Saul saga. And I know we've gone through this many times, but when you really focus in on the storyline, these are the intricate details that were going on that go unspoken. Yet the Bible expects you to realize them. It expects you to recognize the rhythm of them and the intricate details of them so that you get the fullness of the story. For without noticing these details, you can never grasp the totality of what the Bible is conveying of this story. The Sauls of the world look to tarnish your image. That's what their main goal is. And I know many of you can understand this, whether it's in work environments, you're at the job and you got some issue at the job and there's someone there that maybe doesn't agree with you and they're looking to tarnish your image so that management doesn't look at you in a positive light. Whether it's communities that you're within, people that don't really know you, or it could be one person that has an issue with you and they're more rooted in the community than you. And because of that issue you have with that one person, they look to tarnish your image within communities. And whether you care or you don't, it doesn't matter. This rhetoric goes on, whether you're trying to win the hearts and minds of people, or you could care less if anybody stands with you. The fact of the matter is that these things happen more times than not throughout life. And I ask that those that are onlookers and those that are privy to the gossip mill or the rumor mill, that you don't make decisions based upon gossip. When someone comes to you with a negative word upon someone else, just like the trainer asked me, I was in training a few weeks ago and I did a podcast on this. I did this a few weeks ago. And a trainer has said, what do you do when someone comes to your desk with gossip or rumors? How do you handle that? And I let everybody answer it. I just listened to see what people said. And everybody said the same thing. Oh yeah, I would correct them. I would tell them they shouldn't do that. And I I would do this, I would do that. And they're going to be the Martin Luther King of the office and set everybody straight. And then it was my turn. And I said, I would listen. I want to hear what you'll say. I want to hear what you'll say about a person you've never met. I want to hear how passionate you will speak of what you heard from somebody else about a person you've never met in your life. About a person that knows nothing of you. And then I'm going to let you finish. And then I'm going to say, I don't know, friend. I don't know them. I don't know if that's true or if it's not. And I'm going to continue on with my day. Because I'm going to walk away from that conversation, not ostracizing myself so that the person that has come to me no longer feels as if they want to share information with me. I want to know. I want to know what's going on in my environment. I want to know what people are discussing. And most importantly, I want to know how you act and what part you play so that I can get a better understanding of who you are as a person. These are all personality traits that I need to see and know of to base my decision on what type of person you are. Because it takes a certain type of person to believe a one-sided story on someone you've never met. Ever. Why do people do these things? They do it for a number of reasons, but a lot of times they do it for comfort. It's comfort driven. I keep telling you, all of these problems are because of comfort. People looking to solidify or hold on to levels of comfort. So they a lot of times will weigh in on the side of the person that can provide them the most comfort. Unless the person that can provide them the most comfort is an enemy of theirs. They will align with and support, run the play of the person with the highest ability of providing the most comfort. It has nothing to do with truth. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has everything to do with comfort a lot of times. And this leads me to the next leg of the conversation. You know, I can remember times when I was in corporate America, whether as a customer service rep or account executive or account manager or sales manager or in any leadership capacity. At each interval, no matter how low or how high, I dealt with things because I needed the job. And then I had a season of my life where I had lower paying jobs where I didn't have the pressure of, oh my God, are they going to fire me? Oh my God, was I a team player today? Because I don't want everybody to think that I'm not a team player. I want them to like me so that I can keep this job because I really need this check. I need to keep these checks for at least 6 more months so I can stack up some money so that if they do fire me, I got something to bounce back with. So because of that, you just kind of like get in where you can fit in and do all the things you feel like you need to do because you feel like you need to. Why? Because of comfort. But then like I said, I've experienced roles where I didn't have that huge base salary to depend upon. I've had jobs where my base salary don't even cover my bills. It just gives me something to do throughout the day. It didn't provide me a level of comfort that the higher paying jobs did, yet it provided me a level of freedom to really be myself. To not fall in alignment with what everybody else is doing and just be like cool with that and not seem indifferent to that, but to really be who I am and offer my own unique gifts up in the unique organic way that in which they are. So it was an exchange. It was an exchange from the feeling of having to suppress who I am or who I was for the comforts so I fit in, and swap that out. I would swap that out with not really having a lot of comforts, but being able to flower out, speak from the heart to people about real life situations. And I will find that those are the most fulfilling roles that I can find myself in. And let God make up the difference, whatever that is, financially or however. And in that, what some will see as a negative, meaning, it's a lower paying job, you don't get all the bells and whistles, you don't get a company car, you don't get a huge commission structure, you don't have a really abundant base salary, you ain't got all the medical and dental benefits that come with such. They will see that as a negative, not having that. But I would see it as a positive because I would be able to flower out spiritually and intellectually in ways that I just couldn't otherwise. And that leads me to what I saw this morning on social media. I woke up this morning and before I got my day going, I saw this. It said, don't wish for a better wind. Don't wish for a better wind. Utilize whatever wind that blows to take you where you need to go. Don't wish for a better wind. Utilize whatever wind that blows to take you where you need to go. And I said, that's it right there. A lot of times in life, we wait for the right climate, the right timing to get in the game and make our presence felt. We need the right wardrobe, the right hairdo, the right opportunity, the right kind of car, the right kind of friend groups, the right kind of boyfriend, the right kind of girlfriend. All this right stuff we need. A lot of times we need them stacked up on top of one another. Right look, right car, right neighborhood, right job, all the right stuff to step into that next thing that we're really banking on. But the real power is getting in the game with what you got and having enough wherewithal within yourself to command the winds, in a sense, to be able to sense the wind as it blows however it chooses, and being able to pick from what is presented to you and ride that wind. Let that wind direct your path to where you need to go. That's skill. It's not in being particular and sitting it out and watching everybody else partake of riding the wind, being driven by the wind, and observing them, and then waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and season comes and goes, and those are multiplied upon one another, and you're still waiting with the same old gifts. You haven't gone any further with the gifts. You're standing in that same old yard, within that same old environment. You've built the structure. You've got the substance. But you're standing in the same old yard. There's nothing more for you to cultivate. And you're waiting for the right opportunity for you to step out with what you've already cultivated, all of your substance, and allow the wind to drive you into your next. You're waiting for the perfect wind. Yet, is there a perfect wind? What is perfect? And who deems it perfect? Do you create your perfect? Or do you expect your perfect to come prepackaged with a bow on it, with your name written all over it? I'm here to tell you that your perfect is what you make it. Your perfect is yours, and you have to create it. All God will provide is the wind and the resources, the natural occurring resources. It is for you to be able to observe them and to tap into them and to utilize them to drive you to your next, even in their imperfection. You make it perfect. It's only perfect if it allows you to go to where you need to be next. That's the perfection of it. You make your perfect. Don't wish for a better wind. Utilize whatever wind that blows to take you where you need to go. Use what you've got. A lot of times, God will send those people that the Sauls of the world were so afraid of that they created huge and flamboyant smear campaigns just so that you would never see it. Just so that you could never see what the Sauls of the world saw before you, and that they tried to submerge and extinguish. That gift that they have God cultivated in many of them just so that they could be a resource to you in helping you establish yourself in new levels of greatness. The Abrahamic covenant is a powerful covenant. It's a powerful word that God spoke over the Hebraic house. And he said that when aligned properly, that through these children, all nations will be blessed. Whatever environments they go into, they are a gift. Yet, this truth would be hard for some people to swallow. Saul would hate on those of his house because of this gift. He would create dissension and division within his own house because of this truth. So much so that he looked to extinguish the light that God had put within David to be a gift to both him and his fellow brethren and sistren of this same house. all from selfish desires. And he would be able to do so because of comfort. Comfort. I encourage you all to look at your relationships and not let the ideology or the rhetoric of other people and their fears or their judgments to lead you in your perspectives of one another. I ask that you all put on your crowns that God has blessed each and every one of us with and own that crown. And hold one another accountable by way of the authority bestowed to you, which is of that crown. And in this, you see between the rhetoric, the fear, the love, and the truth. This is my word for you today. You love more than you'll ever know. David will go on regardless. David lost nothing. Absolutely nothing. Keep going. You love more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.